Hey everyone, this is Daily Devotions for March 30th, 2023. I had to remind myself that it's 2023 because even in this March of 2023, I find myself currently stuck at home with COVID. Now, my symptoms are pretty much gone. By the time you're watching this, it'll be day 5 of my quarantine, so I'll be just about ready to get out of this house. But here I've been for the last week, pretty much stuck at home. For those of you who know me well, and some of you who don't, who've just maybe heard me griping, I don't particularly like being still. I don't like being stuck in one place. I like to feel productive. I like to feel useful. I like to be able to have some autonomy about where I go and what space I occupy and what I have access to. And so being still is not really my forte. And yet, it's a command. It's biblical. In Psalm 46, it says right here, verse 10, "Be still and know that I am God." That's a nice phrase. It's a comforting phrase. It's one of those that's supposed to remind us, that God is with us always, etc., etc. Except we kind of forget that there's an imperative there, right? Be still. Like it's telling us to do something by not doing something. And that can be a hard pill for some of us to swallow. But there is something that the psalmist is connecting about being still that has to do with knowing that God is God. Somehow, there's a quality of knowing that God is God that we are only able to access when we take the time to be still. Why is that? Well, I don't know, but I think maybe it's because when we are constantly in motion, as many of our lives tend to have us be, when we are always moving, always doing, always looking for the next thing that needs our attention, we tend to be ruled by, worries and thoughts and cortisol, that stress hormone that causes us to hold on to belly fat, but also hold on to this sense that nothing gets done without our effort, which, by the way, is what Parker Palmer calls functional atheism. And so it can be real easy to lose sight of the fact that God is God. This Psalm 46, this verse is placed in this wonderful context. There's all kinds of things going on. There's natural disasters going on. There's wars going on. There's death and destruction all around. And right in the middle of it, armies, are battling each other, and God's like, shh, be still and know that I am God. No matter what else is going on around you, y'all are doing the most right now. Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among the nations. I am exalted in the earth. And the psalmist concludes, the Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Oh my goodness, what a wonderful truth to be reminded of. But if we're not still ever, we're likely to miss it, aren't we? And so there are things about this forced stillness that I have worked to appreciate. There are gifts that have come with it. I have benefited from the quiet and from a little bit of curtailing of my movement. I have benefited from moments of being forced to simply be still and recognize that maybe in the spot that I'm in with this particular day, there's just not much more that I can accomplish, but I can be still and know that God is God. Whatever else I can't handle or can't control or can't get done today, God is still God. So, here's a little challenge for you, a little late Lent challenge. Maybe you've been doing all kinds of wonderful things and you've given up all chocolate and you're having the best Lent ever. Maybe you're like, is it still Lent? What's going on? I didn't even realize. It's okay. The beautiful thing about Lent is it's long enough for us to kind of wander off the path and come back on again, as one of my colleagues recently reminded me. So there's a little bit of Lent left. Here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Take some time each of these remaining days between now and Easter to just be still and know that God is God. Still your body, still your mind. For some of us, this is the hardest part, right? This particular application that you're on right now is probably not helping you with that. So turn it off. Be still. Here's a way you could do that. You could set a little timer for 5 minutes and just breathe. And on your in-breath, you can say, be still. And on your out-breath, you can say, know that God is God. Okay? Be still. Know that God is God. Do that for 5 minutes. See what changes. And if you want to add a little bit of that, read this entire Psalm 46. Maybe make that a practice for your day because it's really wonderful. And I think you'll benefit from that too. Friends, I don't want to have to be stuck here being still all by myself. Will you join me in these last few days of Lent? Let's be still apart, but together, so that we can welcome in God's fullness, so that we can be reminded that God is here even in the heart of the darkest days of this upcoming Holy Week. And so that when we arrive at Easter morning, it is confirmation of what we have known in our hearts and in our minds and in our spirits and in our bodies all along. God is exalted among the nations. God is exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts, the God of Jacob, is with us. Thanks be to God. Amen. Be still.